Hello, my friends. I hope you're having a wonderful day. The first thing I want to say is that I would love to know what your thoughts were for the most recent episode of House of the Dragon. Season 2, Episode 5 aired this past Sunday night. Currently, at the time of recording this, I'm not sure when you will see this. It is Tuesday, 48 hours later. Hopefully, this has given enough time for people to see the episode. I would love to know your thoughts. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is one, I just thought this map was incredibly cool and I wanted to share it with you. And I wanted to talk a little bit about world building in fantasy and sci-fi worlds. So I know a lot of the people that follow me on this channel or on my YouTube or on any of my other socials are also writers and creatives or people who are just really passionate about reading, writing, especially in the fantasy and sci-fi genres. And one of the core elements of a successful fantasy story is a unique world where the rules of the world or the magic system are established and make a lot of sense. Also, if you hear a banging noise in the background, I'm in Barcelona, Spain for the summer. They're doing an inordinate amount of construction on apparently every building around me. So if you hear those noises, that's why. But one thing that I wanted to ask you is, in your own world building, what have been some of the lessons that you have learned about how to properly build a world? So I watched, I was really lucky to see this in person actually, and I also have watched it on YouTube. N.K. Jemisin, author of the 5th season, who I absolutely adore. I saw her masterclass live about world building, and I also have watched her masterclass on masterclass.com, where she goes into detail about some of the more, I would say, technical aspects, and that was really helpful when thinking about my own book and my own world that I'm trying to create. I think making detailed fantasy maps like this are also really helpful. And I've been watching a lot of videos from cartographers and people who are fantasy world map makers. And also during my MFA, when I studied fiction writing, I also got to meet some people who have made fantasy maps for their own worlds and get to hear from them about what worked, what didn't, what was confusing. And I think incorporating some of the wisdom from N.K. Jemisin, where she talks specifically about thinking logically about how climate patterns and how geography might impact cultural customs or what people decide to wear, what people decide to eat, and how that would then impact their language, their slang, how they communicate with each other, what is considered normal for communication, transportation, family units, relationships, which all stems from the geographic proximity to the sky or to the water or to fire or to snow. That would also change the food patterns, the ecosystems, the types of food they had access to, and then that would naturally change language patterns based on the climate, all sorts of things. Just the other day, I was walking around Barcelona with a friend of a friend, and she was telling me that she is also a fantasy writer, and she struggles with the world building aspect the most. And so I've been thinking about, it's been clinking around in my head, what are some things that I could direct her towards? I told her about the N.K. Jemisin masterclass because I personally found it really helpful, but I'm wondering if I could crowdsource some wisdom from you all. I know a lot of wonderful, fantastic writers, editors, readers of all kinds follow me on here. And so I would love to just know your thoughts. What are the core elements you need when crafting a world? What are some of the problems that you've run into? And also just love to know your thoughts about creating maps to go with your books. Do you feel like that helps you in the writing process? Do you feel like it grounds you as a reader? Would love to know all of that and more. And again, sorry for the construction sound around me. I don't know if my phone is like quieting it automatically or if you can hear it, but if you can, I'm sorry.